All right. Welcome to Goof On, everybody. I am Rich Giordano, your host, and it is May 25th, 2021. It's Tuesday, right? I think it is. Tuesday's a good day. You're on your way to Wednesday, the hump day. That's a good day. Always like Wednesdays. Thursdays didn't have much feel till you get to the end of the day. Then it's like, can't believe tomorrow's Friday, and then it's the weekend. So I'm glad it's only basically a day and a half from the weekend, but we've got a good show tonight. I've got Manny from Area 503 joining me here in a second, and we are going to talk about the threat. We're going to talk about Tyler. Yeah, that's right, secure team. Why not? Why not? It's part of the community, and maybe we'll talk about a few of you in the chat room, in the audience. But it's going to be good. I've got some clips I'm going to play from Jimmy Church with Sheehan, the lawyer of Lou Elizondo. The things he says, it is really cool. It almost verifies what Greer says about Lou Elizondo. This is going to be a great show. I want to welcome Manny from Area 503. What's up, Manny? Welcome to the show.
Good to be here, man. I'm glad everybody out there could join us too. It looks like the chat room's popping off and people are coming in by the droves. So I guess the buses that I sent out to pick people up are working and they're getting people here.
I saw one go by. Yeah. Good. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Well, every time I hear your voice and I don't look at you, I feel like I'm watching a video. I used to on your channel. I used to do that with Third Phase, and it's like you talk to them on the phone and you're waiting to hear, buckle up, everybody. You know, it's like, it's so weird. But you were on last year. It's been a minute since you've been on. So a lot has been going on, especially in ufology, but with yourself. How's the channel going, Area 503?
Good. It's slow and steady, and you know what I call good organic growth, because people who are coming around are staying around, you know. So the channel's going pretty good. I've just been plugging away at it, trying different things to see what works. And you know, like I did the April Fool's Day episode that was a big production, and you know, now I'm working on some music composition things and trying to branch out and do different things, and you know, see where it takes me and what I can use those skills for. So
what do you mean music composition? Like for what?
Oh, like to score my videos and stuff. I did a work party just a couple of days ago where I was teaching myself to use this program called Fruit Loop Studio 20, which is it's a music composition program. And so I'm just trying to learn how to use that. It's basically the After Effects of musical creation. You know, it's what big producers use. And so I figured, you know, if I could learn After Effects, I could learn this damn thing. But it's a very robust program, and I have a lot of fun working with it. I've been working with it just a couple of weeks now, but I'm getting pretty good with it. So we'll see where that takes me. I think in my next video, I'm going to be scoring my own videos. So I'll have my custom music that I made for the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. And then from there, who knows what I'll do with it. You know, I'm not looking to make, you know, like songs or anything, but maybe at some point.
Like Third Phase of Moon. Third Phase of Moon put a whole album out.
Well, yeah, but different. Like they're playing guitars and stuff, and I'm running a computer. You know, it's different. And I have to acknowledge that. You know, like I have a profound respect for someone who's put in the time to pick up an instrument and learn it over the years. You know, like I did it with computers, you know, instead of piano, you know, and things like that. So I get that. I respect that. It's different, but it's similar. You know, but yeah, it'd be really cool to have people. You know, like it's all digital stuff. So I have to make my own sounds, but, you know, I can record things over it. I can have people do vocals over it. I can have people record, you know, guitar riffs or drum tracks or whatever, you know, like I can do whatever needs to be filled in there. And if you didn't get a chance, go check out the live stream I did. It was fun. I was just poking through it, and, you know, people in the chat were giving me ideas to throw into music and stuff. And it was fun.
Where
and,
is it here? Which one?
Go to videos and then go live, because I don't think it'll show up. Oh no, there it was. Yeah, the work party and chill.
Right
yeah,
here.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's take a listen. Just right from the get-go?
Yeah, at about 6 or 7 seconds, a song will kick in, and that's one that I was working on just to learn the different samples and the programs and the instruments.
Oh, I see. It's coming on.
Incoming transmission for Manny at Area 503.
I see other channels doing this. They go live and they try all sorts of cool things like this. Wow, you got a full, wait, you got a full beard here. Is your beard different now? I don't know why I noticed it.
No. I left it long for that one. That was my Thunderbeard picture where I challenged Jeremy Corbell to a beard off in one of my videos. I was like, I got a Thunderbeard, man. You know, like it was total satire. You know, like it was not at all supposed to be serious. But yeah, so I let the beard go out a little bit on that one.
I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, so that's
oh, go ahead.
Yeah. That's the one that we were working on the show, and that's the one I'm going to use in my next video because the songs are not really good once I got a good drum track to it. It sounded awesome. But yeah, I'll explain it kind of in my next video too, how scoring things makes a difference, you know, because you can put in breaks and beats and change tempos, and you know, you can do all of that sort of thing, which is powerful when you're trying to make a video. You know, you're not stuck to, you know, just using music that you can find on free sites and plugging it in and hope it works, you know. But
what is this software here? What is this word? What is that called?
FL Studio 20. That's the latest version of Fruit Loops, which has been around for a long time. I think actually this program goes all the way back to the Amiga days. You know, the Amiga 500 had a tracking program called Fruit Loops, and I think this might be the current form of that. So
sounds familiar. Yeah, I wish I would have, you know, stayed with that because I like making music. And the thing about that, you're not copyright. You know, you can make your own stuff.
Oh yeah, anything you use there is yours to do with as you want, you know, and you can get different instruments and samples, and you have to pay for the good instruments, you know, like if you want a cello that sounds like a real cello, you're probably going to pay, but they have those plugins and you can do it, you know, you can get as advanced as you want and just start simple and work your way up. But I just have fun with it, man. It's fun. I kick around in the morning, like I read the news, sip the coffee, go throw together some beats and see what happens, you know.
What's going on behind you? I thought I saw an animal move. Am I wrong?
Oh no, that's my associate producer, Prince Dubois.
Oh, Prince Dubois.
Yeah, my cat. You know, I figured if Jeremy Corbell's footage could be a UFO because he says so, my cat can be a prince because I say so. You know, like he's Prince Dubois. He's back there with ET.
You're gonna have to weaponize your catosity.
Yeah, if he ever gets up from his nap, I will.
And if everybody's coming in here, we're speaking with Manny from YouTube channel Area 503. You know, I always thought when Tyler left, you were going to take that role and just go through the moon like he was. But before he left, he wasn't really getting the tabloid attention anymore like he used to. So this has been a difficult ride for all of us in this genre who have YouTube channels. We're being shadow banned. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, there's definitely an ebb and flow to how YouTube promotes, you know, ufology or certain keywords or whatever, you know. And I had mentioned this to you in one of our Twitter messages just briefly, but you know, there's certain genres that it picks up, and it's done this since day one, and it just promotes those and promotes those. Sometimes it's Logan Paul and that type of skit-based stuff. Other times it was personality-based channels, like I mentioned, Gregory Jackson, Onision, and that whole drama that created. And then, you know, for a while there, it was ufology and paranormal. And, you know, sometimes it'll be Discovery Channel type stuff or educational things or political. It all depends on what YouTube thinks is going to make them money. And that's what they put out there. They don't care about anything else, you know. And it's kind of sad, but that's the platform we're on. That's the reality. We can't change it. So we might as well just try to accept it and adapt the best that we can, you know. And that's Oh, I was going to say that's why I kind of branch out more to like Twitter and other places too. You know, like there's if you're shadow banned on one, well, you can get a following on another, and YouTube can just turn into a free file hosting place for you, or a free place to stream, you know, or whatever. But I
But
guess oh,
if
go
you
ahead.
want to make this your job and, you know, make some money, you know, make this a career, whatever, it's 3 years if you're not with another, you know, big channel supporting you. Like I hooked up with Third Phase of Moon. If I didn't do that, you know, whenever how long it was, a year ago, and think when I started working on Third Phase UFO Report and whatnot, um, I don't know where I'd be. I'd have half the subscribers. It's been a murderous during, especially last year, March, April, and May. It was 25 subs a month. That's it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did what you did too. I even had my subs turned off because I didn't want people to say, "Oh, nice small channel you got there." You know, people hit you. It doesn't matter. It's so cruel. Oh yeah, you're really making noise with those 1,100 subscribers. Like, shut off. It
Right.
feels bigger though, man. Like when we do, like you don't do the live shows as much, but it's different when you have people coming here live. I like that thrill of being on the spot. Have you ever thought about changing things around, do more live shows?
You know, I like the live stuff, but I don't know if I'd want to do like a daily or a weekly, you know, maybe a weekly work party or something like that. I like the kind of low key, you know, chill and chat, that type of stuff. That's just like, hey, let's see what comes up, or people could talk about whatever. But I haven't really thought about going into live streaming on a regular basis, other than, you know, the work party type stuff that I do and things like that. And really, that was just kind of to show people what goes on behind the scenes, you know, because a 12-minute video could be real simple and take me one day to do, or it could be real complex and take me a month to do. Depends on how
What?
much. It depends on how much animating, how much
Yeah.
research is involved in it. You know, I mean, how it really could. I wouldn't spend a month on a 12-minute video. If I had to, I'd be putting it as you know, 12 minutes of a larger segment, like a 60-minute film or a full
Oh,
length
okay.
segment or something like that. But you know what I mean? Like things can take a lot longer than you think. And I like people to see that behind the scenes and see what goes into it, you know? Plus kind of dropping the carpet down a little bit and letting people see the wizard is kind of fun. Give people a behind, you know, like a behind the scenes, like, hey, this is what's really going on, you know, like, I don't know. People seem to like it. I have fun doing it, so I'll probably keep doing that. But
That's
I'm
what
not
I
gonna.
did. Yeah, when I was showing people how I edit stuff, I showed a few shows like that. Just, you know, 5 minutes here and there. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And you were gone last year for a while. Is that going to happen again with you? Because I'd hate to see your momentum get stopped again or stall. You know, you were doing so well and then it seemed to just stop when you came back.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there was a while there where things were just really, really hairy, both online and in the real world here, especially in Portland. If you remember that time, things were pretty tense here in my hometown for a while, and you know, things just kind of got heated up, and I
Hmm.
needed to, you know, I was looking at it and I was like, you know, I'm spending a lot of time on this stuff, and it doesn't seem like anyone's really noticing. I know the YouTube algorithm wasn't noticing, and I just needed to take a little bit of a breather and refocus on that. No, I don't see that happening anytime soon unless something happens that would drastically keep me from posting videos. If I got locked in a cell somewhere or teleported to Mars, maybe. But you know, if I have to, you know, if something happened in let's say my work computer just blew up, you know, and everything was gone, you know,
Sure.
everything I worked for, I'd still get on my phone and do a vlog and be like, well, guess I'm waiting for the new computer to get here, you know, like
Yeah.
that's where we're at, you know. But I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to do what, you know, the guy we're going to talk about later did, where, you know, he comes online and asks for a pity party every time something happens, you know. Like everybody on this planet's got a ball of problems, you, me, everybody, you know, and you never know what somebody else is dealing with. So, you know, I just don't want to seem like, you know, like I know that everybody's got issues, and mine, I love my first world problems, you know, like they're great to have those kinds of problems. There's some real problems out there people could have that,
Mhm.
you know, would be worth really, you know, asking for some help with or whatever. But you know, a computer, when you've got a bunch of money to replace it, isn't one of them, you know. So yeah, I don't think I'll be taking a break anytime soon. I'm changing kind of how I look at things and what I want to do, you know. Like I'm looking at writing some screenplays now, and maybe looking at trying to get into producing like a fictional movie or something like that, you know. Something, or even a series of movies, if I could do something like that. I would just be in heaven. That's really what I've always wanted to do my whole life, is make movies. And so when I got into this stuff, I was like, well, this is my version of it. I don't need a bunch of money. I don't need a big producer who thinks that I'm cool to back my film. I can do my own stuff. I can make my own, animations. I can make my own titles. I can write my own scripts. Now I'm going to be making my own music, and I will no longer be stifled because I don't have resources. My whole life, my creativity was just bottlenecked and kept down because I didn't have money to pursue things, or I didn't have the time because I was working, or I didn't, and I know that those are excuses that I've made for myself, but I'm just saying that's where I was. Like, I'm not going to take those now. I'm not going to let it happen. I'm going to go out there and do this stuff that I said I'm going to do. So that's where I'm at. Look for some more stuff on my channel, keeping the research going, because that's what keeps my brain sharp. And I want to share what I learned with people. That's what my channel has always been about, the search for universal truth. I want to share what I learn about every day, because every day I'm learning something,
We all are. And a perfect example of proof of concept, as Third Phase of Moon always calls it, look at them. They do everything at lightning speed, and they get it done, and it looks great. The countdown to disclosure. I mean, it was a lot of work, but they were done with that, I think, in a few weeks. It took a year to make, not because of the CO-19 and all that. They had some things recorded, then they had a, third party it out, contract other people to record other people for them for the interviews. So, but the editing process and everything, and getting it up to, Amazon and wherever, you didn't have to go through a big corporation or agent or anything like that. It's pretty cool nowadays. You can just do that and just put it up, and people can either love it or hate it. And they love that movie.
That's how art should be. Society will determine the worth of it. We don't need some media company to tell us what's important, or what's valuable. Like, they definitely have an agenda. They're going to be like Disney and say that every movie they put out is the biggest hit since the last. You got to go see it now. It's at every McDonald's and Doritos package and every other company they own. Like, that's just bullshit. I like what Third Phase did. I love the fact that it was somebody who was independent, who got, with the countdown to disclosure. I mean, it was great that somebody who didn't have an agenda was like, I just want to tell this story. Here's the evidence, and tell the story. It needed to be said, and not a lot of people are talking about it. So hopefully more people will be here, especially with Greer coming out. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Greer's going on their show on Third Phase of Moon, doing that live cast in mid-June. That's going to be amazing. They're going to talk about the threat and everything, and hopefully they'll have Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, the others will show up. I don't know if they will, but it'd be cool if somebody did. I think Sala is going to join in, Michael Sala.
I think if people put enough pressure on them on social media, they'll have to. They definitely watch UFO Twitter and different social media groups. They definitely do. So, I said earlier, maybe, or in another show, I was talking about getting a hashtag going. It's like, maybe you just need to get one and get enough people on Twitter to push these people. That's where they're at. Twitter's the place to vocalize and mobilize people if you want to get stuff done. I've seen Twitter armies do a lot for people. So.
But Twitter is that other way of thinking that I'm not a real big fan of. And they think this is a threat from aliens, and wait until you hear this Sheehan thing with Jimmy Church from the other day. It's amazing. And I'm going to, have to do fair use on it. So I'll have to make sure I get you the right sound and, I can't even talk the part of it that I want you to hear. I did take good notes on that, but you left, like I was saying earlier, I wanted to lead into Secure Team, because you did a little bit of a hit piece on one of your videos about Tyler, kind of making fun of, well, not making fun, I don't know, it's like tongue-in-cheek type of talk about him. What do you see now that he's saying he's back, but I'm not buying it that he's back fully? But what do you think about this guy, man, that channel?
Well, I've got a long experience with Secure Team 10, not personally, but just like as a fan, I watched his channel a long time ago, before I watched anybody else's channel, before I even really knew that there was a whole, online subculture of ufology on YouTube and Twitter that kind of blended together, and, things like that. And he was really my exposure to it. at some point, I remember reading a forum about a UFO posting, and somebody had said, where can I get more information on these subjects? And someone had mentioned Secure Team 10, and I was like, okay, I'll go check him out. And I looked at a few of his videos, and I liked the fact that he had confidence and he was just saying what he thought. I was like, this kid's just calling it like he sees it, and I like the fact that he, at least it appeared to me at the time, but as I, I'm sorry, I like the fact that he was calling it like he saw it, and he brought attention to things that most people wouldn't talk about, at least from my exposure, because like I said, I obviously hadn't met you at that time. I hadn't seen other channels like that. The History Channel and things like that were starting to really pick up ufology and push it into the mainstream. And it started to really make me think. I was like, wow, like people are really starting to get hip to this subject, and there might be some more information out there. It's always been something that I've been fascinated with, but, over the years I've found, leaked documents on weird forums, and, back in the day, a weird UFO video on a bulletin board system, if you remember those. And I was like, oh my God, like aliens are real. They're real, but nobody cares. And they're just like, whatever. You just don't, you think the world's weird because of alien tech or whatever. You don't get it. You're just a kid. You don't get it. You're just a kid from Mount Tabor. You're just an urban hillbilly, whatever, so, but I've always felt that way. I've always looked at the world and been like, something isn't right here, man. Something's a little off, and not in a bad way. It's great that we have digital technology and whatnot, but it just struck me as weird when I was learning about history and on things like that. And, the technologies, how they've grown, how we went from steam engines to, vacuum tubes, and, the different advancements of the ages, how they took so long. But, here we are, 20, 30 years after, really modernizing electricity, and we're already putting together, nuclear weapons at that point in the 40s, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, how are we moving this fast? What's going on here? And it's been warp speed. We've got the computers in the palm of our hand now with our cell phone, but
yeah, but you're watching Tyler, and you see this guy, well, you don't see him, and you hear this guy, and I think did you really trust what he was saying? I mean, because you were saying you didn't really look at a lot of other places yet, but he was saying stuff other people weren't. I don't know, man. Do you have a different opinion of him now? Forget the stuff that happened.
Yeah, no. Yeah, let me go back there for a second. I do. So I'm watching Tyler when I first got a hold of his videos, and I'm watching him, and I thought, wow, this is great. This guy's got access to all this stuff. But what I would do is, after I watched a 12-minute video, is I would go out and research the subject for myself. I wanted to go, when he did something on Jeanette Island, which was one of the first videos I did, I was perplexed. I was like, why is this blacked out on Google Earth? Why are all these different mapping sites, redacting this thing? What is underneath there? He didn't even know the name of the island. I went out and found the name of the island within 10 minutes of researching, and then I was just like, well, I thought maybe he's doing a lot of work. He's cranking out videos pretty rapidly at that point. I thought maybe he's just not doing, full due diligence. Maybe he's just trying to bring the subject to people so that they would research it for themselves,
right,
like I had done. But, come to find out, that's not the case. He was just getting it out there, and he didn't care. He wasn't going to be thorough. He didn't care that it was, a Russian territory that, is actually an American island. And, I did all this research into it. So that's, and that was really the crux of my channel too. When I started this channel, actually, for about 2 years before that, I'd been working on a gaming channel that had, I think, 37 subscribers when I started this channel after 2 years, and I was poking it with the stick, having fun, but I was really learning the technical aspects of editing, animating, all that sort of things. So when I was doing that, that's where I was watching Tyler. And then at one point I just got upset with his work. I was like, you know what? I do better research than this, and I can do better videos. I'm just going to do my own stuff. I'm still going to watch his, and it wasn't combative, but I just thought, I can do research and figure out what's going on with this stuff and save people time. That's why I put links in the descriptions for my videos, because I want people to go and check my work. I want people to go and read it for themselves. I want people to make up their own minds. Don't take my word for anything. Don't take anybody's word. Look at all the information and make up your own mind. That's why we have one, but
well, the thing with this community is when the longer you're in it, you get to see a pattern with everybody. If whoever it is you're watching, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this person is saying that. They, like you just said, didn't he know the name of the island? It's like, why would they do that? And then years later, while you're still watching them, you're like, oh, I see why. It's just clickbait. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just putting up stuff for views. A lot of people do that, and it waters down the community.
Well, yeah, and you look at how much he was putting out, and people have said, similar things about other people who put out a lot of content too. And I think, it's hard to put out content. It's hard to come up with original stuff. And there might be that one day where you're having a bad day and you're like, oh, to hell with it. I'm going to put this out because it's what I got, like, even though, like, in your gut, you shouldn't, but that's just what happens, and the more you put yourself out there, the more that's going to be the case, and that's why really I try not to push myself too hard to put out a video every other day or every day. At minimum, I'm putting out one a week, but as I get more time and more subjects come out, then I'll do little, pickup videos on those too, so I'm not going to push myself, but as stuff comes out, I'm going to talk about it. That's what I do. I'm on the search for universal truth, man, and I want everyone to help. I want people to talk about it. If people think I'm crazy, then say so in the comments, but don't just call me a schmuck. Tell me why. And, give me some links or something, So, because I give links, I back up everything that I say is backed up with some kind of evidence. That's why there's a link to a video. That's why there's a link to some footage, Well,
you
not just to say stuff otherwise.
Yeah. Otherwise what?
Oh, I said I'm not just going to say stuff otherwise if I don't have some form of evidence to back it up on. If it's pure speculation, I'll say that. I'm saying I'm purely speculating. There's no evidence. Don't make me eat my words. I'm not Corbell. I can't get away with it. Other people can, but not me.
Oh, there's a shot already to Corbell. Round one, he comes out swinging.
Bing pow.
We didn't even mention the guy's name yet. Holy crap.
Whatever.
Oh, man. Well,
I'm not hiding it.
No, I know. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, we can get there now if you want. This whole thing that is going on, I found out about this threat thing. It started with TTSA, this whole threat assessment. I really didn't put that together for some reason, but it did, didn't it?
Yeah, I did. And, it's funny you mentioned that because I was just watching that initial TTSA press release video this morning, because I wanted to remind myself of some of the things that Lou had said. And just because I was like, did I really remember that right? Did that guy say this a certain way and look like such a schmuck when he said it? And he sure as hell did, I'm here to tell you that the phenomenon is real.
Yeah, that's him, man.
What the hell, dude? Like, you are such a liar, Lou. Like, how did anybody buy that? And I felt that way from day one, man. And it did start there. And it's interesting because you look at what Lou said that day, and he's saying, I'm going to start you soft. The phenomenon's real. There's something out there. We don't know what it is. You didn't hear the words potential threat come out of his mouth during that press briefing, did you?
No,
I didn't. No.
That
those words didn't shift until here later, when he's trying to spin a narrative, and now they're going to shift to something else, like he said what he wanted to say. He got his sound bites. His story changes, more often than an ad lib. It's scary, and I don't get how anyone falls behind him other than the people who have done it because they didn't know any better. And now they're just afraid to walk away because they don't want to feel foolish, but I don't know, man. I guess we'll see. Time will tell.
Well, it's a good place for me to play this clip where Sheehan was on Jimmy Church, and this is what he said about the threat when it started. He's been there the whole time. I mean, he knows everything that's going on. And let's get this. Here we go.
He was the attorney for the Disclosure Project in 2001, Michael Sheehan, right? The guy.
He's still Greer's attorney.
Wow. Yeah. I had a hell of a time transcribing him when he was talking during that thing for my video, man. Like I will never transcribe a lawyer ever again, ever.
They use some big words. I don't know, man, but that's funny.
Just like Lou.
What's that?
I said they talk in circles just like Lou.
They do. Yes, they do. But I like Sheehan. He's actually not bad. Check this out. Check this out.
You got to listen to what he's saying. Yeah.
Project still ongoing, as is the citizens hearings that were in 2013. They're still active, and so I represent them as well.
Okay, so the speaking of Lou Elizondo, I remember you and I having conversations on the show and privately, and that you have said other stuff. About TTSA, which were, well, I was in agreement with, by the way. But anyway, you held
before I represented him, before he reached
right. Well, that's actually, right. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So being critical of TTSA and what may or may not be going on there.
Whoops.
Everybody can have an opinion, and you had yours. You didn't represent TTSA,
No,
but
no, never did.
you were very critical of TTSA. But now you represent Lou Elizondo, who was then part of TTSA, who has since left. When did you start representing Lou? Was it when he was still at TTSA or after he left?
All right, so I got to pause it there for a second. You know, it's interesting. I mean, the guy's in it. He knows everything that's going on. Were you about to say something about this?
Well, yeah, I am curious too why Sheehan would represent Lou, and I heard a little something that he was saying that, well, I'm trying to help kind of coach him or guide him into being honest, So I'm going to wait till I hear the rest of it, but I am curious.
We've got several clips. They're not long. This one I started a minute early by accident. That's why I had to pause it here. I'm so silly. Here we go.
Before he left.
Okay.
What happened is that Lou resigned from the Defense Department and became an employee of the To the Stars Academy within a matter of 2 weeks or so. And a number of public statements were being made by the people from the To the Stars Academy, and I believed, I formed the opinion that the To the Stars Academy as an organization was engaged in a process pursuant to which they were attempting to generate the image of the UFO phenomenon as being a threat to the national.
There you go. He said it. It's amazing. Yeah, how long they've been around? 2016?
16, 17, I think. Yeah.
Well, Lou came in, I think, in 2017.
Yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. And he was an actual employee of them. I find that interesting too.
I know. I have to pause for a second. Dorothy Lang is constantly saying she's waiting for the show to start or something. I don't understand. She says, I'm so tired waiting for Goof On to wake up. Wake up, Richie.
No, she needs to reload the page. That happened to me on your show the other day. It didn't automatically start until I reloaded it.
Hold on. Let me tell her. Dorothy, we are live for the entire... Well, since we are live.
Yeah. You have to tell her in chat.
Start. Refresh your page. Amazing, right? Sad.
Yeah.
So he was an employee.
That's interesting. And I'll have to check the numbers. I don't have them in front of me, but I was looking it up one day, and there was it was over 30 million, I think, that the TTSA made in stock when it sold those stocks after they came out with their disclosure agreement.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was UFO Seekers who did just a breakdown on the stock and what they're worth, which is intrinsically nothing. You get no voting rights, you can't trade them. They're basically a hope that this company makes some sort of profit over the years after it pays back the loans that it's giving, that Tom DeLonge's giving it, and all that other stuff. But it was pretty shady. There was some 30 some odd million there, and he said he cashed most of it out for stock bonuses for all of the employees. And I'm thinking, well, is Lou one of those guys? How much did all those clowns make off of that? Was it all just was it a money-making thing? I know that a lot of that money went for the Angels and Airwaves tour that's going out, because they show that band is owned by TTSA as a property, and they listed it as one of their IPs on their SEC paperwork. Yeah, it's owned by TTSA. So they're probably footing the bill for all that. It's all public information. You can see it on the SEC websites, on the tax sites. It's all out there. You can get it on Google, and I've done a little bit of work.
But he wasn't hiding that. He said in the beginning, we're going to make music, we're going to do this, we're going to make it artsy. To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, so.
I think he did show a spacecraft he said he was going to build, though. What was that whole thing? Remember that diamond-looking shaped craft that was supposed to traverse air, water, and space?
Yeah, we just saw it. That was Corbell's.
Oh, no. TTSA was going to build that sucker,
They were, you talking about the one they were going to build. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I feel bad for anyone who bought those stocks. If anyone out there did, and they actually got some money out of it, let me know. I'd love to eat my words on this, but I don't think I'm going to, Next one here. This one is pretty much in the same thread. Here we go. Let's see what something important. I forgot to write down.
Mindset as well. I'm sure there was a lot of reasons why he chose to leave To the Stars when he did, but was this part of it, that the message was not something that he was comfortable with?
Well, he said to me to begin with.
I guess they're trying to figure out why Lou left TTSA, because he didn't like it that they were talking about a threat or whatever.
Our initial conversation.
I don't know. It's weird.
The people inside the Defense Department are lying about me. They're lying about me being the head of ATIP,
right,
the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification. They're lying about its even existence. They're denying that it ever existed.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was later on. Yeah, he's talking about how the Navy or whatever group he was in, what was it, the Army, that they were trying to, ruin his reputation, saying he never worked at ATIP. It's amazing what they tried to do. I remember that. That's why there was so much controversy.
Well, that's what forced Harry Reid to write that letter for him, right? For Lou vouching for him being in a position of authority, I think he said, or leadership. There was something like that. But again, if you look at that letter and all of the names were I think there was 9 names on there. That was ATIP, and 6 of the names were redacted, and 3 of the names I think was like Lou Elizondo, Harry Reid, and there was one other name. It might have even been Chris Mellon. I don't know who it was, but there was one other name on there, and it was interesting to me because ATIP as a leadership role couldn't have had that many actual people to lead other than Lou himself. I mean, you could say you're in charge of a unit, but if you're the only person in the unit, doesn't that just make you the unit? You know what I mean? You're technically in charge of it, but I don't think ATIP had a crew of people working on it.
No, they did.
Other than
according to Lou, they had people who did
that's not the letter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. So the subcontractors, I get what you're saying. Yeah. And they sent stuff out to Bigelow too, right? So there were subcontractors in that analysis and stuff. But I mean, the actual team members of ATIP that were on the know, that were classified and on the project ATIP paperwork, it was not very big. It was like 9 people.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's another thing too about that, since we're on that topic. Nick Pope just posted a tweet last night or this morning where he had gotten a letter from, I think it was the DOD, stating specifically all the programs that ATIP had worked on there. And a lot of the programs, at least 5 of those, were the same names as the Salvador Pi patents. I was just like, what the hell is going on here, man? Like, I can almost see the whole big picture. It's all just kind of fuzzy. And I'm like, it's starting to make more and more sense, but I just can't put that last piece into place, man. I just don't get it. But what's the connection now with Lou and all of his disclosure events and his research that he did at ATIP, and then the Salvador Pi stuff? Like, I'd really like to know.
And they brought it over to TTSA.
Well, they did, yeah, and they were researching that stuff, and now Pi's getting patents on it. It sure makes it sounds like this is legitimate research and not just some kind of weird psyop. It sounds like something's coming big. And it's moving fast. And if you look at what's going on geopolitically in the world, with certain regions, that would make sense that something's coming down the pipe in the next, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 years that's going to kind of lock all of the borders into place for a good time. Maybe alien disclosure event or something like that locks, United States, Russia, Australia, New Zealand, locks those borders. They are now what they are, and that's it. But there will be no more of that. So I don't know.
Start at a threat, right? It's a threat. How do you take it down? Like, if you want to have disclosure, that means alien contact. I think that means we're in contact with aliens. To me, that's disclosure. I don't think it's just technology. So I don't think, if they're going to say, hey, we found these in archaeological sites, and this is how we got this incredible technology. We found it. It's aliens, but we don't know who they are. We just have their, that I guess is a form of disclosure, saying that they got it from another civilization that they don't know who or where maybe. But then I think, well, Jesus, man, what about all the people who have been abducted? They even brought that up on the show here with Jimmy Church. You can't dismiss the abduction. So how do you go from a threat and then calm everybody down and say, okay, we're going to have disclosure? It would have to take years, and people would have to die off and have new beliefs. No?
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever get real true disclosure as you and I would like to have it, which would be an actual truthful admission by the Pentagon or by our government of what they've had and how long, going back to Roswell. Like if they had it or not, we'll never get the truth because they'll never admit it. And everyone says this in the intelligence agency too. They'll never admit if there's a threat. They'll just be like, if it's something that they can't do anything about, like the proverbial asteroid that's going to take out the planet. They would never tell us about that because they can't do anything about it. They'd say, "Oh, you'll panic in the last days," and you're like, "No, maybe we'll just party and get along. Who knows?" But they would never tell us. Same goes for an alien threat. If there was a real alien threat and they couldn't do anything about it, they wouldn't tell us. So either there isn't one, or there is, and they're fully prepared to deal with it. I don't think there's an alien threat to us beyond, at least on a whole, like massive level. I want to say that because the abduction factor is different, and you need to take into account that if there are actual aliens visiting our planet, there's probably more than one species, and not all of them might be good. So there might be some that are here to help us. There might be some that are just popping up to abduct people, to work on them for whatever reason, or just to sample them. I mean, like human beings do that in nature. You go find a new weird ant colony in the middle of Africa, you're going to take some samples back to the lab and take some photographs and document it, if you're into that sort of thing. But who knows, like maybe there's been a few over the years that pop in and just randomly have picked up people. You could go down the rabbit hole that there's been a secret agreement with governments letting people do that, but I've looked at all that. I just can't find anything there. It's like, I wish I could believe that, but if there was some concrete proof, I'd like to see it. It would make a lot of sense, but we can't just go on that. We need to go with the facts that we have, and that's where we're at today, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm at the belief that if they were to have disclosure, why start out with it being a threat? Like, this could be the very beginning of disclosure, right? Because that's how serious it is now on mainstream media. So maybe this is the beginning stages we're seeing. They start out with the threat. Maybe they show us some evidence, and maybe we just can't foresee what's next because we have different ideas of how it should go down, maybe. But I think they know something we don't know, of course. Obviously, I think they do. And I remember in season 1, episode 4, I don't remember. I think it was that one where Lou was trying to get some information from his higher ups. And the guy said, "We can't, Lou. They're demons, man. We're not going to let you have demons." They actually told Lou it's demons. That's when he knew he had to get out. So get out of ATIP.
That scares me because, I've watched a documentary called The Family about a deep state religious organization that's really kind of taken over, the U.S. military for a number of years in certain ways. It's frightening. And, for a number of reasons, that if they're, I don't understand how people can think that, but I do understand how people can think that at the same time,
Sure.
So I'm just like, all right, well, either way, if they're demons, then we should be talking about them and you should be acknowledging them because we need to, look at all the facts and the evidence of the universe as we see it. That's how we rationally analyze things. We look at demons, we look at them as UFOs, we look at them as aliens. It doesn't matter if you call it potato, you can still make French fries out of it, so, and we need to make French fries out of it. We need to understand it. We can't understand anything when people are lying and using things for their own agendas and, making fake videos and calling things fake, just for attention or money, this subject is so convoluted nowadays, man. And I'm just like, wow, why are we even trying? Sometimes don't you feel like you're just peeing in the wind?
I do. But let me ask you this, hypothetical. What if Lou isn't, what if they're not lying, which they may not be? Okay, so they're a threat. All right, what are you and I going to do about this? We're going to fight aliens here? I mean, I don't get it.
When Lou says threat, and I've come to this conclusion, I'm speculating because I've got to pick through his words because the guy's never just straight up. If you're like, Lou, are you saying that the aliens are a threat? He'll dance around it. He won't say yes or no. But he's blurred the lines between what I would call two different types of UFOs. One would be a man-made drone of some kind of secret tech or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe a X-37B, let's just say. And the other would be an actual alien UFO. He's calling them all UFOs, and he's saying that they're all threats. But what he's really talking about is, does Russia or China got some drones that can fly up and we don't know about? That's what he's saying. And I wish he'd just come out and say it. I wish he would, because people are confusing it, and it's almost like he wants them to. It's like he wants them to confuse it. It's like he's baiting people to go a certain way with this, and especially when he lets his, you know, these followers on Twitter blast people like me and like you and other people who try to clarify and say, no, that's not what this means. And these army of trolls come in and they're like, you don't know squat. You're just a hater. You know, oh, you're just some guy on Twitter. You're just some guy on YouTube. You know, it's like, you know, he could set those people straight and say, no, the guy makes a good point. You know, I am actually talking about this one and not the other. And, you know, that's actually another thing too about the ATIP letter that Nick Pope posted. It specifically said in there that they were talking about foreign adversarial threats. They were not talking about unidentified UAPs. They weren't talking about UFOs. They specifically used the term foreign adversarial threats. And so that is what Lou had a big, that was all Lou. You know, when Tucker Carlson was like UFO top dog, you know, that's bull. That's complete bull. You know, Lou didn't study UFOs. He studied foreign adversaries, special force, you know, special flight, you know, whatever Russia's got that's a standard, you know, like our Lockheed or our you know, our special, you know, special access projects. That's what he was supposed to be studying.
This here?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is from May 22nd. A couple of days ago.
Yeah, that's probably it. It'll list it all on the bottom, all the projects, if that's the one.
All the way at the bottom. Oh, these
here?
Yeah,
yes. Yep. Yeah,
wow,
look at all those projects.
Inertial electrostatic confinement fusion. 2, advanced nuclear propulsion for manned deep space missions. 3 is pulsed high power microwave technology. 4, space access. 5, advanced space propulsion based on vacuum space-time metric engineering. Wow, biosensors and biomems, invisibility cloaking, traversable wormholes, stargates, and negative energy. Madonna mia, look at this.
Yeah, and some of this had come out in the Leslie Keene article, wasn't it? I think she had posted some of these things, but not all 38 of them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember, you know, the global media had picked up on it. Even RT was talking about the cloaking and all that.
He says the above statement updates previous Pentagon statements on ATIP, attempting to clarify its role and, in particular, resolve the question on whether it was or wasn't a UFO program. Yeesh. If ATIP had genuinely been about next generation aerospace and weapon threats, which is still the line being pushed, one would expect the center of gravity to have been Russia and China. It isn't. The list of reports produced under ATIP are focused on advanced theoretical physics concepts such as anti-gravity, additional dimensions, warp drive, and wormholes. The fact that one report was about the Drake equation further indicates that the true purpose was nothing to do with terrestrial adversaries such as Russia and China. The purpose of the Drake equation is to estimate the number of communication civilizations in the galaxy. Jeez. So that's aliens.
Right, but the UAP task force is not a continuation. Look at that paragraph above. Yeah, the last one. The UAP task force is not a continuation of ATIP, since the majority of reporting about UAP observation in recent years came from naval aviators. Right, so they're passing it on to the Department of the Navy, which has already had a program like this, I think, pretty much since the beginning of their inception, but I don't know. I mean, you have to report everything in the Navy. It doesn't matter what it is. It goes somewhere.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I suppose the Air Force too. Yeah.
Yeah, leading assessments of UAP incursions into DoD training ranges and designated airspace since approximately 2018. Beginning in 2019, DoD undertook efforts to formalize the good work done by the Navy for DoD. Former Deputy Secretary Norquist approved the establishment of the UAP TF on August 4th, 2020. We know that. Interesting, though, right? I mean, it's amazing. I like the update. Nick Pope coming out with some new stuff. Well, yeah, sort of, but yeah.
Semi-new.
Yeah. But it doesn't. Go ahead.
Yeah, it shows that Lou didn't work on UFOs, man. And he said before, before 2008 or whatever, I'd never even heard of a UFO.
I know.
There was that one line on that in that news article. I was like, that makes perfect sense, because I was up at the hospital the other day and I was telling this guy about my YouTube channel and UFOs. And he's like, hey, that's great. Would you like to be the leader of our heart surgery unit? You don't know anything about heart surgery, but why don't you just come on in and run this unit for us? So that went over like a lead balloon, So I don't get why they put Lou in charge of a task force when he knew nothing about UFOs.
I was just going to say that. Why Lou?
Right. And I don't know. Maybe because I don't know. I could speculate. I have a feeling a lot of those the money that went to a certain group of people, like it was one of those types of things, but maybe not. Maybe he is just a pawn. And I hate to say it. I hate to say deep state, man. I hate that term because you can't put your finger on it. And the second you put it together, someone's going to say, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist, but
so,
yeah, well,
so what?
If there's smoke and fire, maybe there's a fire,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. So it sure feels that way. And you kind of feel, if you look at the Russian military, I think they have they have their own problem with the same kind of thing there. This kind of extreme religious kind of section that really controls things, military in their military, so that's, maybe those two are working together, I don't know if they're anywhere else in the world. It doesn't feel like it, maybe it's just a Western culture thing, but it's kind of scary because we've had all that technology for this long. And, we're kind of responsible for the way things are now,
I know.
So,
yeah. Well, I want to get back to this, Jimmy. That was an incredible discussion we just had. I didn't even realize that was going to happen, but see, I knew if I played these clips, something excellent was going to happen. It had to have. Just having you on was great, but the conversation, because I asked you, I said, let's talk about this, that, and the other thing, but I never know. I don't have questions for you. I love that. Sometimes it just works out that way, and I appreciate that, man. Good thoughts tonight, man. Good chat room. I want to say hi to Truth Seekers. Mr. Cambian coming in to get his goof on. I guess he said. Welcome. And Scott Brown, everybody else. We didn't do roll call because every time I have a guest, we don't do roll call. It takes too much of their time like I'm doing now. All right, let's get back to Jimmy and hear what Sheehan says in this next clip. I have no idea what it is. I forgot to make a note on this one, but I wrote the number down. Here we go.
Chunk of new UFO fans, right, that have, that are happy that the Department of the Defense and the Navy are suddenly our friends of the UFO community, right? But yet we're having these statements that are contradictory, right?
Yes.
So are they telling the truth about Lou? Are they not telling the truth about Lou? Are they telling the truth about the U.S. Navy videos? Or is that a bunch of disinformation and BS too? We've got decisions to make about.
Look at Jimmy Church, right? Unbelievable. I never thought he would say such a thing that way. Good for him, man. He's really telling it like it is. I want to hear. We got a few more seconds left.
The messages coming out of the Pentagon.
That's right. We have questions about the messages coming out of the Pentagon, and we have questions about what the messages are coming out of the To the Stars Academy.
Mm-hmm.
But when Lou contacted me originally, what he was saying is, look, some people inside the Pentagon are issuing official statements on behalf of the Pentagon, lying, saying there was no advanced aerospace threat identification project. It's a lie. There was Lou Elizondo never had anything to do with any such program. And they started disparaging his military career, and he was upset. And he said, look, I know that you've represented the New York Times in the Pentagon Papers case. I knew you represented the Silkwood family. He said, I knew that you represented Dr. John Mack at his convocation at Harvard. I know that you're the one that went after the off-the-shelf enterprise.
He's an amazing lawyer, really, I guess. Lou's got one of the best out there. I was impressed with what Jimmy said. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely question everything that's coming out of the Pentagon on this. If there is some sort of rogue faction inside of there, then is running everything, so they're definitely going to have access to what is said publicly.
With the conflicting reports and the shitty videos, it's weird, man.
Yeah, but they never tell the truth. I mean, come on. When have you ever seen a Pentagon statement at full face value and just been like, oh, that makes perfect sense? Like it's always double talk. They always, and they'll hide it under national security. They'll hide it under classified programs and things like that and say, yeah, we're justified in lying to you, but that's, I don't know. I'm not real trustworthy of it, I think Lou had more than enough adequate documentation to prove that he worked there. It was kind of silly if they said he didn't. I think they were more trying to argue with his portrayal of what he did there and what ATIP was and what it wasn't, because he was portraying it as this UFO. He wanted to make it seem like it was the blue book of today, and it's not.
Right.
It's not.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, nothing like that.
It is weird that they did choose him. I think it had to do with maybe he did something when he was out in Afghanistan, or, he did something off the books and maybe he got demoted. And that's why he was put into this shitty.
I'd like to know. I would love to know what he did before ATIP. I would love to talk to anybody who's had a beer with the guy, or who served with him and can tell me about his character, nothing classified. I would love to know anything about that guy before he joined ATIP. As far as I'm concerned, he didn't exist. He's got a digital thumbprint, but nobody else. Is Lou Elizondo even his name? I mean, how do we know it's not Carl Witherspoon from Topeka, Kansas? I mean, come on. Or even maybe it's Ivan Dimitrov from Moscow. Who the hell even knows? I mean, I don't know. Would that be scary?
It wouldn't surprise me. I tell you,
I'm cracking jokes here, man. I'm not being serious.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know anything about him, and I would love to know something about him. Anything. Well, high school even too, anything. Like just something to give the guy credibility, because he's done a lot of things in my book to where he lacks credibility. From his first statement, just his body language, the way that he flip flops on his story, just. How it seems to coincide with certain other parts of propaganda that are coming out makes me think he's not rogue and solo, that he's a part of a group or something, whether it's organized or an official or disorganized and, rogue, who knows? I mean, but it does seem like he's part of a group of something. And I don't mean TTSA. I mean, a group that's pulling some strings elsewhere, so.
Don't you think it seems like it's all scripted though?
It feels like part of an operation, man. I've been crying that since day one, man. It feels like an op, and I would hate to think that our own military would be operating on us. There was one interview with Lou, and somebody said that, they're like, Lou, why should we trust you? You're a paid liar and you're paid to deceive. And he's like, and he looks in the camera and he's like, I'm paid to deceive the enemy. You're not. And then I thought to myself, well, yeah, you probably do think I'm the enemy. You probably do think anyone who's not part of your little group is the enemy, and that scares the crap out of me, man. There's a fictional series I just started watching that was recommended to me called The Handmaid's Tale that talks about a rogue political faction. Have you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I've only seen the first 5 seasons of 5 episodes of the first seasons, but I'm starting to get where the story's going, and already my jaw's just dropping, and I'm like, oh my God, I get that it's very stylized and it's supposed to be dystopian, so they're going to make things the worst it can be, but it's scary when you think about that kind of stuff. It's like, man, that could, something like that or something not far from it could happen, and might be happening. And that's what does, scare me about Lou. And that's what worries me, like if this is an operation, it's not Lou Elizondo. In intelligence terms, he would be the tip of the spear. That means the rest of the friggin' spear is coming right behind him. He's just the beginning. He's the guy who comes in and takes the first shot through the door. He's the first guy to break the wind, to break the story, break the subject or whatever. Now everybody else can come in behind him, whether they're journalists, whether they're, spokespeople, whether they're, private media or whatever. They can all come behind him now and start adding their little bit to it and add the little pieces together and add more pieces together until they get the whole thing. And that's how operations work, man. They're all done strategically. All these pieces work, independently. Go watch that old Robert Redford and Brad Pitt movie, Spy Games. It's 90 minutes long and it's awesome, dude.
I never watched that. Spy Games.
Dude, you have to. Everyone in the channel should go watch it. Ridley Scott, amazing director, Tony Scott's brother. Or is it Tony? No, Tony did that one. Sorry, Ridley. I had those backwards. But it's a great movie. It just explains the way that their brains work, man. And you're like, oh, they're chess players, dude. Every single one of them, But
yep, it sure is. They're playing the game of Risk. That's what they're doing. All right, let's get to the next one. It says here about Lou never seeing a UFO or seeing a UFO. I can't read this really well. Here we go.
One of them was a statement from, I believe, I'm going to have to paraphrase here, from Dr. Greer, that Lou Elizondo said to somebody, and I believe that somebody was you, that he had seen a crash disc or a flying saucer in person, and then that was repeated. Now, were these statements made, or was it a misunderstanding of the statements? Can you clarify all of this?
Good question.
Well, what it is there were there's some information, some discussions that Lou and I had, because I have been, and Lou will acknowledge this to you, that I have been pressing to find out how much it is that Lou intends to make public about what it is he knows, and how far is he going to go to get the Defense Department to tell the truth. And in the context of those discussions with him, which are attorney-client conversations,
of course,
I've been trying to find out from him what the different issues are that are going to come up.
So that he's talking about Lou saying, well, I'm trying to hold the DOD, or I want to get them involved and get them interested in this. And, you know, I kind of mentioned this in my video that I did about the 180-day report. You know, the committee, that committee comment section says there that the committee remains concerned about these issues, and we're trying to put into place an agency to investigate them, to coordinate information. It sounds to me like Congress is paying attention. You know, I don't get why Lou still feels the need to rattle his saber and say, nobody's listening, we're not paying attention. The DOD's paying attention. They've had UAP task force, they had ATIP, they've had projects going all the way back to Blue Book. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, now Congress is taking interest in it, and probably has been all the while too. And it sounds to me like Lou's just going to keep blasting that horn and saying, they're not listening, that's why I have to do that. It's manipulation, man. If that's all he wanted, he'd be done now. Why wouldn't he just go home? Go to Cancun, get some tequila, man. Relax. You know, put your toes in the water. But
don't you need the public to back you in some ways when it goes through Congress or something? Or
well, he didn't say that he wanted the public opinion. He wanted Congress to pay attention, and they are. You know, they've got this committee. They're you know, I broke it down when I looked at the actual verbiage of the 180-day report. You know, like they're saying that they're paying attention. They're saying if you guys want money, we'll give it to you to study these things. They're saying we'll work with you on it. And they're probably wondering why the people who are saying that they're not are the ones, you know, who are stymieing the works. You know, it's that same group. It's the Pentagon that is saying, like, well, what's going on here? Maybe they don't even know. Maybe it's that rogue faction again who's making counter moves inside there internally. You know, like, we can only speculate what goes on behind closed doors there. You know, I can't believe that everybody there is in on this so-called secret, but maybe there's enough there to make it, you know, its own separate game of politics over there. You know,
that's why they won't talk to Greer, I bet, because he knows stuff. Greer, I think he'll say he does anyway.
What can they say? You know, I can say anything I know. I don't have an NDA. I don't have security clearance. I can't get in trouble for talking about anything. If somebody shows me a document, I can show it to anybody I want, unless it's classified. You know, I'm just a guy. I'm not, you know, a guy on the internet. You know, like, what's going to happen? What are they going to do? You know, I mean,
well, Greer will bring up conversations they had in the past and put them on the spot, and they're not sure what he remembers or wrote down or possibly secretly recorded. Who knows? With Greer,
or might have evidence of. Yeah, that's good. I can understand why they wouldn't want to talk to him in a casual or a live setting. You know, they'd probably want to run everything through lawyers and their PR departments and things like that. That's probably, you know, that's what they do. But yeah, I don't know, man. What do you think about Lou here? What do you think about Sheehan? I mean, is he going to get him to come clean?
No, you can't. No. You can't turn around 2 years of hard work or however long he's been putting his threat out there. Yeah, you just can't turn. Well, see, the threat is what they want Lou to say is that the threat is not about aliens. It's about back-engineered technology from possible aliens, or that they found, you know, in an archaeological site. They want, because everything we've seen, Corbell's videos, Knapp's pictures, they're not UFOs, man. Not at all. Not in my book. Those are our craft we back engineered or maybe figured out technology that we didn't think we'd have, you know? So that's all we're seeing, I think. And they want Lou to say that. Just come out, like you were saying earlier, just come out and say it. Just say it.
Yeah, be straight. Whatever the story is, be straight and stick to it. But I don't think, that's not how he works. He's kind of in a politician mode where he's going to say whatever works for today and then just flip flop to whatever tomorrow and claim that he always felt that way. And, double talk his way out of it when people call him on it. So, I don't know.
Here's Disclosure TV with a $5 super chat. Just want to throw it up there. UFO, and he says, Dan, I believe is his name. UFO disclosure should be accredited not to one person, but to everyone who's tried over the last 60 years and into the future. And thanks for the $5 super chat. Super generoso. By the way, super chat, PayPal, Patreon, and Cash App are all there for you if you want to help support the stream. I got to do this full time. I need your help. So that's a very, very good comment there. What about all the people who were before? They don't get any credit for anything. I mean, that's what I don't like about it either. They're not talking to the other people. It's all one-sided. That's why Greer wants this debate.
Yeah, so you got to look at who grabbed onto that too, and it was all the mainstream. It's those same media corporations that are owned by the same people that are trying to push something, or have buddies that want them to push something or whatever. That's why they're grabbing onto that. That's why nobody wants to talk to Greer, because he's got a counterpoint. Nobody wants to listen to him. Everyone online is, the young guns are just blasting him. They're like, oh, he's full of money. He's a scammer. He's a con man. He did that CE5 stuff and, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, look, man, like the guy's been doing this for 20 years. If you don't like one thing he said, you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. You just throw out the bathwater, he's made some good points, but, I suppose if I were to have done it for 20 years, I'd probably say enough, have enough statements and sound bites out there to get people, at least everyone could find something to disagree with me on and say, oh, you're a jerk, you're a hack, I shouldn't listen to you for that, but if Greer's stepping up and saying that, and he's got, evidence really to show it, then I'd like to see that, I commented on the 2001 disclosure event, and, it was scary how there's some parallels with what's going on today with what Carol Rosen had talked about, Werner von Braun warning her about, the alien invasion threat and things like that. So, I thought it was a good comparison. It's almost like Lou read that or saw that disclosure event and was like, oh, this is the playbook I should use, do this, this and that. Yeah. So
it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'd like to see them together though, man. I want to see Lou and Greer debating in a neutral setting, and talking about it. I'd love to be there, but I'll have to watch it live.
They'll never do it. That would be the ultimate though, wouldn't it though?
Yeah. I can't understand, Lou should, man. I've seen him do a live stream that had like 300 subscribers on like 20 viewers on the live stream. If he's going to go that low, there's no reason he wouldn't go on a much larger show to do, to speak his point of mind or his point of view. But I guess it'd probably be more of the same, just him telling his story and, all of his fans going, yay. But yeah.
Sorry, I was just moderating my channel because somebody called us dumbasses, and I don't go for that. You don't have to say dumbasses.
Yeah, I think it's funny, man. Go ahead.
It is. It is funny. Yeah, it was Mark J. Cox figures. There is no alien they found, and your dumbasses don't know what UFO event is. The only one in history to make our military arm nukes on B-52s because I was on duty inches from those armed nukes.
So you're saying we armed nukes to respond to a potential alien UFO threat?
No, he said the UFOs made armed the nukes.
Don't ban him. Get him on the damn show, man. What are you talking about? Let's talk some more about that.
No, you have to have respect when you come in here. You don't call me a dumbass, and you a dumbass.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst thing. I bet.
You want me to unhide him? Here, I'll take him back. All right, just for you.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care.
If he was in our military, then thank you for your service. But
thank you for your service. Yeah.
But I think he's wrong. I think that the UFOs didn't arm them. Show me proof. Mark, get me some proof of that, buddy. Thank you for your service. I want proof. Thank you for your service. Get me proof. Service. God, that makes me.
one of the witnesses at the 2001 event talked about the Maelstrom Air Force Base event where the ICBMs were, armed and then disarmed in the silos, never launched or anything, but just turned into a ready mode and then disarmed, and I think that was a credible story.
Yeah. Still stories.
But, you'd think there would be evidence of that. There would be other people to back it up. But I don't know. I haven't dug into that particular one. Greer, that guy was part of Greer's disclosure project. So maybe he's got more information on it on his site. I haven't really dug into that too much, but it might be out there. That's a good story about him. There was another one about a missile that might have gotten shut down off the coast of California, a test missile or something like that. A little UFO flew up to, and then it zapped it.
Yeah. That's funny you say that. Yeah, nothing. It's just weird. I know about that story. I can't tell you what I know, but that's a real story. Yeah, I'll tell you after.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the next comment. This is pretty interesting. This is about Greer saying, well, you'll hear.
An issue came up about, as you know, Dr. Greer, not exactly in the context of the Disclosure Project. The Disclosure Project itself has been committed since at least 2001 to trying to get all of the information that the Defense Department has about UFOs revealed. But Dr. Greer has taken the position, as you almost certainly know, that he believes that the increased reporting of these UFOs that's taking place now by the Pentagon, acknowledging that they're real and talking about these numerous sites off Virginia and off Baja, he believes quite firmly that this is all a pretext using existent back-engineered technology. That our Lockheed Martin and the people at the Skunk Works, Ben Rich and the rest of the people have actually developed using materials taken from downed saucers.
Yeah, extraterrestrial craft, not
that's right,
not of this star system, from somewhere else. Yes,
that's right, and that he takes that position that he's convinced from what people he's spoken with that our the group that are the descendants of MJ-12, that group of private corporations and scientists, et cetera, that are functioning outside of the normal channels of the United States government, have in fact succeeded in back engineering these craft and predicate.
Yeah. So he's talking about MJ-12 descendants. That's the deep state, right? I mean, like, why isn't that what he's saying there? Am I confusing his statements? It's hard to say, but because they're not direct. But that's what it sounds like. If there's not just a group, low group,
that's pretty much it. And that they back engineered. They figured out how to back engineer this technology from aliens, but so it's not aliens.
Well, where did it come from?
No, the threat is not aliens. It's us.
Yeah, right. I got you. So the threat is other people doing the same thing that we've done and reverse engineering this technology over the years, possibly, is what they're saying.
No, we're the only ones that have it. So what we want to do, what I think they're doing is they're blaming anything that happens on aliens instead of blaming China or Russia or blaming us or any other country. We're going to blame it on aliens and unite us all to fight against an imaginary threat. And then I don't know where that takes us. One world order, new world order.
Independence Day meets Ronald Reagan at the UN. I mean, is that where we're at? I don't know. There are some countries out there that might have the technology to do it. There are other countries that have advanced weapons programs as well. China's not one of them. They just, got to Mars with their rover for the first time, which is an achievement we achieved, I don't know, some 40 years ago, I think, or maybe not that long ago, but it's been a while. And then, Russia too, they had the original space stations with MIR before we had the ISS. ISS is coming down in 2024. Now China and Russia are actually going to be building the new space station up there together. So that's kind of interesting. But if you really look at what they're doing, they're doing what we did 20, 30 years ago. And that's really what people have said about our technology for the longest time. If there's, if you look at some of the NASA satellites and probes that were sent out 20 years ago, well, they're using cell phone tech or batteries that's the same in our cell phones that we're using today. So it's safe to assume that the government does have technology and batteries and power generation that's 20 years advanced beyond what we see in the public sector. But that's our government. And then the people that we've given it to from there, which are our allies, depending on what day of the week it is.
Speaking of batteries, here's a great invention that they should have come up with 30 years ago when rechargeables. Now you can just plug it into the battery itself instead of putting it in a little holder. Now you don't need to buy the holder. You put your batteries in, then you take them out. Now you can just plug the thing into your battery. What a great future we're living in. I'm telling you, this technology is blowing me away. That's my point. Things really haven't gotten that great. And Third Phase would argue with me about this. They have, in the last 30 to 40 years, TVs are thinner, clear HD. Yay, I can see clearer. Big deal. Where's the flying cars, man? I mean, what are we 10 years away from that? 5 years away? 20 years away? And
flying cars won't happen until we have more advanced form of power generation, because from what I understand now, using conventional means, the amount of power needed to generate the lift to get a human being off the ground is ridiculous. So you're not going to see people flying around like that. There will be, but it will only be for the wealthy, and because it'll be expensive. It won't be economical. And that's, that's part of the problem with I don't want to get too much into it, but it's like a capitalist based system only produces capitalist, products that can make a profit, that are not necessarily in the common good, but are just going to make money. And at this point, and I talked to somebody who was working in one of the self-driving car programs. I think it was Waymo or one of those programs. And I asked them that. I said, so how long before they're flying like a quadricopter taxi, and that's what they told me. They're like, the math just isn't there, and alien scientists would be a better one to ask about that. He'd probably understand that,
sure,
a little better than I do. But from what I understand, we're going to need something that can provide more oomph than what we have now. It's not going to be lithium ion batteries. It's not going to be combustion motors. If we had something more, then maybe they could still do it. But like I said, it's just not economical. So all the ones you're seeing nowadays, all the jetpacks and all that stuff, they're building all this future technology, and they're doing this with space technology too, assuming that down the road somewhere, someone's going to come up with a better power source and be able to unlock all of this extra potential that's there. So the groundwork's being in place, and it's almost, maybe they know, maybe that same faction we were talking about earlier does have the 0 point energy device, or has some sort of something, just something, that could fill that need. And they're just waiting for us to get into the right places, or, maybe they're scared to put it out there with things being a little hostile around, geopolitically. Maybe they're worried that another country could get a hold of it and turn it into a weapon, because that's, look what we did with nuclear power. We could have just used it for power, but we made weapons out of it too, like
that's the problem. Yeah.
Right. And they're, this is what cracks me up about this alien threat thing. We've harnessed a minuscule portion of the sun with nuclear power, right? Fusion reactor is nothing compared to our sun, and the amount of power needed to travel just from our solar system to the next solar system, if you're talking about folding space, is just astronomical, if it even exists, And if you could if you could harness that, coming to Earth and having people shoot nukes at you would just be nothing. You just laugh and be like, well, you blew your own damn selves up and I'm going home, sorry, so, people who think that we had to weaponize the planet to get rid of some alien threat is just, it's ridiculous. Those weapons are only a threat to us, by us, made by us, and a threat to us and everything else on the planet, that's living. But then again, if you look at Chernobyl nowadays and you see what happens to cities that are nuked after, or Pripyat is the city, Chernobyl was the reactor, but nature takes it back, man. Chernobyl is going to be, there's going to be deers there in 10 years. There's already plant life.
There are already animals there.
Right. Like we could do that to the whole planet and wipe ourselves out. And in 100 years, something else is going to pop right back up.
For
again,
sure.
So, we That's the only thing, and that we grew up under this banner. Remember, the mutual assured destruction was the deterrent of our era when we were kids. It was like there's, that's we grew up under the threat of nuclear war and the Cold War, and this could happen at any day. And I remember as a kid just thinking, yeah, but I can't do anything about it, so I even think twice.
Yeah.
Like if the nukes fly, they're gonna fly. I'm gonna go, be on my bike, jumping the curb or whatever. I don't care. Like what can I do about it? So it's still the same thing, and that's how I feel about aliens. If they did want to wipe us out, Starship Troopers, they'd throw a giant meteorite at us, an asteroid. We could do nothing about it.
I know.
Yeah,
and we have no chance.
Yeah, or do something to our sun that would take out the whole solar system. What could we do to stop them? Like there are, there's so many different ways that an advanced technology could just mash us like an ant, and we wouldn't even see it coming. And that's why I laugh about the threat. I'm just like, if there is a threat, it's so far beyond advanced, it's not even worth worrying about, so
I want to just throw up the John Haggett. Thank you for the $5 super chat, but he has a question. Hey, Rich, whenever I see them, they always tell me first. I love that. The sensation never goes completely away. And thank you for the $5 super chat, John Haggett, super generoso. And I think I understand what he's saying. Manny, are you an experiencer that you could say something like that?
No. I've never experienced anything. I've looked up in the skies hundreds of hours looking for things, and I've spotted some strange things, but I've never, and I've experienced pareidolia, I think, and seen faces and shadows and things like that. And I'm go to research it and realize it's nothing, but no, I wish if you're listening, come. I'd love to experience
it. I'll tell you, when it happens, it is strange. Now, I haven't had this feeling for years, 14 years, 13 years. But when I was first in it, we had a nice flap of UFO activity, and I've got some evidence to back it up, some good evidence, not just balloons that look like a humanoid or something. But especially when I recorded the 2 fleet videos and a couple of triangular formations of lights, I was just, sitting down, and I had a feeling I better go outside. It's really weird. Why would I have that feeling? And then I go outside, I look up and see a flash, like here we are. And then sure enough, you're seeing something. It's a strange feeling. I know there was an actor who said that, I can't remember, I think it was Dan Aykroyd, said, because he's experienced stuff and he's talked about it, that he was kind of like he was woken up one night and 3 a.m, and he didn't connect with it, but I guess there was a UFO sighting that happened in the area at 3 a.m. that night. He was just up, and he never wakes up in the middle of the night, something like that. So, it's like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Some people figured out what the message was and went all the way over to Devil's Tower, and some people couldn't put the pieces together or make it there. That's interesting. So, John, I understand. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Too bad, Manny.
I feel like experiencers are, like different people are in tune to different things, like psychically or spiritually and things like that. And I feel like experiencers are kind of like that too. More, there's 7 billion people on the planet. There's probably 7 billion different shades of, how people are in tune with experience different things, whether it's like I said, spiritually or psychically or, an alien life form or something. I'm looking for the old, ship to come down and the Vulcans to come out and be like, hi, this is first contact, and it's probably not going to be like that, it'll probably be something more like Life, that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, where we encounter something that's very, very strong, very, very nasty, and doesn't like us very much or wants to eat us,
That's a possibility too, man.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, the universe is so big and there's so many possibilities, and what we know about it is based upon our perspective, either as human beings or from the Earth or from our solar system or from our galaxy. You know what I mean? It's all about perspective, and we need to get a bigger perspective to really get a handle on what's going on. And there's a lot out there we're not going to know about. Our eyes can't see infrared light, but we know it exists. So is there some kind of energy out there that we just don't know about that exists? And I don't mean like dark energy, but spiritual energy. Maybe it's linked into everything else. Maybe it's linked into the cosmos. Maybe everything's part of something bigger. I really like to think that, but
it would be nice.
Yeah. Then we go more into beliefs and not so much into, facts. So, but That's good.
I battle with that thought every single day, man. I hate it. I want to know what happens when we die, especially. All right, well, let's move a little bit further along here. Here we go. This is about Sheehan getting information on craft or something like that. Let's see what he says. Oh, wait, I have the wrong 137.50, I believe. There we go. It's not playing.
I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that's true. I am not. I am not. I
Convinced.
wasn't briefed in on.
Right.
I wasn't briefed in on exactly what the technology is that we may have really developed. But since that time, I have been, and it's clear that the experts that I have talked with have made it clear to me that some of the types of sightings that have occurred in the last 10 years or so, there are actual craft that are being developed at S4 by Ben Rich and the people in the Skunk Works that are so similar to those types of craft that they could easily have been that type of craft. Now, that's not the superluminal vehicles that travel at the speed of light, and they're anti-gravity vehicles and driven by electrogravitation.
No, those would be physical craft.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
I got you.
So,
let's go to a different clip. I don't really like that clip. I don't know. Manny? Manny's probably getting a drink. All right. This next one is Greer's faith in Lou's lies. Greer's faith in Lou's lies.
Opposing opinions that you may be able to help pull the team together somewhat.
Yeah, I dare say. I dare say that's true. Yeah. I know poor Paula Harris had she became ill when she learned that I think it was coincidental. She just happened to get ill at the same time she learned that I was representing Lou. But she was taking the position that Lou was a sort of a fabricator, a disinformation specialist, was working for the national security state to try to lure people into believing that there was this imminent threat posed by the UFO phenomena. And of course, her entire life has been steadfastly devoted.
Interesting that Paula Harris would feel that way about Lou. You know who Paula Harris is?
No, not off the top of my head. I don't.
Okay. She's an experiencer, and I believe she's from Mexico. I'm not sure if she moved to California or what, but I think she's in Mexico. And I've seen a lot of her stuff and used to get on her pretty bad about it back in the day. But yeah, she's created a nice little niche for herself in this field, and the evidence is really awful. But she was believing that, Lou may be a disinfo agent. We were talking about that earlier. What if he's a plant, and just here to screw things up? If that was possible, why would mainstream media go along with that? It's really weird. How would they convince them that?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I relate that to the beginning of the Afghan war, and the Iraq invasion and all that. How did they convince us that there was WMDs, or why? So you got to look at it like that. I mean, who knows? We just need to look at all the facts and then go from there. There's a lot of Lou's angles are so edgy and so dodgy. They change every day. You're just like, well, to me, that just lacks all credibility. And we're right back at square one, where I'm just like, my gut tells me to never trust that guy, not a word out of his mouth.
We've been saying that from day one when he came in. I think it's the look. I think Lou, and in my opinion, it's not based on anything. I don't know the history. I'd like to know somebody like you said who went to school with him or knew his personality, if he has a temper or something and got in trouble and got demoted, and they tasked him to this ATIP program to find UFOs. I forgot what I was going to say. Shit. What was I? There was a reason. Congratulations. Finally caught up with myself. What was I saying, man? That Lou was Shit. Oh yeah. Nope, lost it again. I hate when that happens.
Is he a misinformation agent? Is he part of a plan? Is he the tip of the spear? You know, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all to find out that. I'm leaning that way, but you know, that's just from everything that I've looked at. I've looked at hundreds of hours of him talking over the last few years because he's talked plenty. And you know, you look at people's you know, their body language, you know, how their story changes over time, that sort of thing. And it really tells you a lot, you know, but you just got to listen to your gut. And I wish more people would, because I think a lot of people who bought his story down the road are going to feel like there was something, you know, oh, there was a red flag there. We should have known, you know, and regret it. But
well, there's supposed to be this big drop of something, of evidence, of maybe a video this week or next. It's supposed to be the best thing we've ever seen. I'm hearing it from a lot of different people. Have you heard that too?
I've seen the murmuring on Twitter about it. I'm not going to get excited because I know the source, but of course I'm going to go look when they put it out. But they said that before about the triangle UFO, and I wasn't impressed. You know, I said in my video on it that I think it's sketchy footage, and that if anybody else, you know, if I were to put that video out and that content and make the claims that Corbell did, people would just destroy me in the comments and online, and I would have no credibility as a UFO channel because, you know, I put out some janky footage and made claims that I couldn't substantiate with facts. But Corbell gets a big pass on it. So I guess, I don't know. I mean, it is interesting though. Did you see, was it Mick West that got on 60 Minutes? They did a counterpoint with him. I think he was on 60 Minutes or some other talk show where they brought him on there to explain his side of the story, which I thought was actually pretty.
What side?
Yeah.
You mean of the debunking and stuff?
Yeah. It was just a couple of days back, but it was over that whole Corbell kind of spat that he was having with Jeremy Corbell over the triangle UFO footage. And they had brought him on to, you know, do his debunker, to do his spiel about it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw a clip of it, but
I think I may have seen that. Let me see. I want to see that. Mick West, 60 Minutes. Let's see. Interview Mick West 1 month ago, 1 year ago, 2 months ago, a week ago, a year ago. See, it should be right here at the top where no, it's a year ago, 6 days ago. That's not him. But I did want to play the. Oh, wait. Have you seen was it you who sent me Fran Blanche? It's official. UFOs are real. So what are they?
no, I didn't.
No, that wasn't you. 60 Minutes here. I think I'm getting there. 60 surfing legend. No. Oh, wait, here we go. 4 days ago, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's it.
No. This one is how fast is it going? The plane, the speed. That wasn't 60 Minutes. I know that because I played that. Yeah. Oh, well, I can't find it right away. Response to Mick West. That's on Lex Friedman. You sure it's 60 Minutes?
No, it might not have been. It might have been a different show like that. I thought it was 60 Minutes. I can try to find it myself, but
yeah, I'm trying here. I do want to find that. Well, while I'm looking for this, I'm going to play the very last clip where Jimmy is curious about Greer. What he says is, I think, interesting. That's why I got it here. Maybe not. We'll see. Here we go.
And others. But we have to listen to everybody. And one of the things, you know, and you know, Lou Elizondo, where Danny Sheehan brings up a great point tonight, that Dr. Greer has been very vocal and speaks as a matter of fact, which he can't do, but he presents it that way. That's his style. That's what he does. And he would rather.
Well, maybe he's confident in what he's stating.
Be wrong.
Well, when your story doesn't change over 20 years, you can do that.
Right? I just wish Greer would leave out the CE5 stuff, you know?
Yeah, me too. That's the bathwater I threw out.
Yes. All right, here we go. A few more seconds.
That's a very interesting point. But back to what we need to listen to everything all the time.
Right.
There are some points that Dr. Greer has made lately that I'm very curious about. I'm very curious. I mean, could this be? I mean, the infamous, you know, Project Bluebeam, the fake alien invasion. Well, this is something that Ronald Reagan spoke very directly about in not one, not two, but 9 separate speeches. You know, this was his message. So could it be? I don't know. But we need to listen to everybody. And
that's right. We sure as hell do, man. That's what's bad about what Lou. Well, look, it's really strange. Lou is not going on the big channels. He's going on small ones like mine. You know, 5,000, 8,000. He won't go on the one that has the second amount of subscribers in the world. It's very strange.
It is selective, you know, but he started at the top because when he came out, you know, he was on Tucker, he was on Good Morning America, he was on all those talk shows and all that stuff.
Because of TTSA. You know? I found out the behind the scenes conversations that Lou wasn't being told about the other small channels trying to reach out to him. So Lou's contacts, whoever was setting up these interviews for him, wasn't giving him the smaller. That's why he's going out and talking with the public so much for all the people that couldn't talk to him before because he was with TTSA. And he says, I apologize. I didn't know it was this many people trying to get me on their shows. Another reason probably why he left. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if that's true, I mean, I don't know. It seems like everyone was on Twitter, and I don't remember him getting real vocal up until recently when he started doing that. So maybe that was
since he left mentality. TTSA.
Yeah. So maybe that was his, you know, he understood that was his new platform, or we don't know why he left. We don't know what he's up to, you know, like we can only speculate, you know.
No, he says he left because they couldn't see eye to eye with the rock star, basically, that he was just like a child. And I guess throwing fits or, you know, come on, we do it my way, you know, and it's like, dude, calm down. We got to be serious. Can't be on Joe Rogan showing your dick, you know, and stuff like that. And that's Tom DeLonge. I mean, they knew that going into, don't you think they investigated Tom DeLonge? They knew his antics. They knew what they were getting with this guy. He's the scapegoat of all this to bring Lou in.
Yeah, I said that before, you know, like if anyone wanted to know, if anyone had an agenda like that, he'd be the perfect guy because everyone knew he'd jump at the bait because of the Podesta emails, you know, like everybody knew, the whole world knew, you know, I mean, a foreign intelligence service could have dangled a piece of UFO footage in front of him and claimed to have been an undercover, you know, intelligence agent for our military. And he would have bought it hook, line, and sinker and just ran with it, you know. And that's scary. You know, I talked about that in my video about the power that influencers have. And I said, you know, it's scary how people can, you know, they don't understand the power they wield when they have access to those types of followers, you know, like they can really sway a subject and maybe they don't care. Maybe they're being paid to do it intentionally, or maybe they're just ignorant. I don't know, but it could be any one of them. Tom DeLonge strikes me as probably the last of those. He doesn't seem very smart to me.
He's not that bright.
No,
really,
I've seen some interviews. Yeah. But
hold on a second. I think I'm getting some people. Here it is. I think they gave it to me. It was on. Thank you, Truth Seekers. Here it is. Oh no, this isn't it. This is. Oh wait. Yeah, Mick West urges to view the Navy videos through the lens of science. This is good. This is interesting. Maybe this is the one you're talking about. It's from CNN. It starts off where Biden dodges questions of Navy footage and he walks away from the question. Did you see this?
If it's the one I'm thinking about, they asked him about what Obama said, or is this another one?
Check it out.
Another one. Yeah, that's a different one.
That there is footage and records of objects in the skies, these unidentified aerial phenomenon. And he says we don't know exactly what they are. What do you think that it is?
I would ask him again. Thank you.
Obama, right?
That question from the Fox guy. I mean, they would accept basically anything as an answer that's good for
I
Trump
hate this prick.
Network. President Obama, he's raising the point that they don't know, right? Because that is the you part of the unidentified flying object. We should have a curiosity. And not because that means that you have to believe in aliens. And I am open to whether or not, I don't know what's out there and what isn't. I'm someone who's decided to believe in a higher power that has intelligence and can affect our lives. So I'm open. But we should go on the facts. President Biden doesn't want to touch it. Why not? Because he doesn't have any good answer and he's got bigger problems. Congress is now awaiting an intel report. Why? Because this is a real problem. The unidentified aerial phenomena matters because you have an increasing number of objects that are getting into areas where we don't want them. So is there any reckoning to this other than scratching?
I think this is so funny to listen to because here's a guy who's not into UFOs talking like he knows what he's talking about. It amazes me, this bullshit. I have to pause it or else I'll get in trouble if I don't. But that, I mean,
and look at the reach. It's CNN, man. It's not, 1,400 followers on Twitter. It's the cable news network, so that is scary, and this guy doesn't know, what does he know about UFOs? What has he studied? He's just reading the prompter and going off on the rant and doing their thing, and this is the media, there's left, there's right, and they all got an agenda, it seems like the only people who are truly neutral nowadays are channels like Third Phase, they're the ones who are trying to stay neutral on things and report it, and not take sides. I'm going to take sides, man. If I've got an opinion on this side, like Greer, I'm going to say I side with Greer and Elizondo's a shill and a plant. And he's on the job or whatever. But, here we've got mainstream media taking sides, and it's just,
I know.
I hope people understand that, I sure do. Whenever I see this or the other, I take it both with a grain of salt. And I'm just like, look, this is all one side's extreme the other way and one side's the extreme the other way. Somewhere in the middle is our reality, but yeah.
So I'm going to play this here because this Mick West is coming up in 3 seconds. And then before we get out of here, we're going to go maybe a little over. Can you stay for about 10 minutes longer?
Oh yeah, we're good, man. We're good.
Because I want to get some questions from people in the chat in case anybody has something they want to ask. So I'll finish this out with Mick West. We'll talk for a few minutes and then we'll take some questions. Here we go.
Yeah.
In our heads and asking these stupid questions, an expert offering his own ideas.
And I'm going to vape.
Mick West is the author of Escaping the Rabbit Hole. Now, he says you got to look at these things through the prism of science and practicality. Welcome to Primetime. It's good to see you. The first one, let's do this episode by episode. The triangle video, okay? This was recorded by personnel aboard the USS Russell, July 2019, off the coast of California. The green flashing triangular shaped object with a night vision device from a Navy ship. Nothing can fly in that shape and that way. What the hell is it? What is there an explanation that we have ignored?
Well, the first thing you notice about it is that it's flashing, and the way it flashes is very like a plane flashing. And the next thing you notice about the video is that there seem to be other triangles in the scene as well. There's a couple of triangles at the end that it flies past. But if you analyze the video, you can find that those triangles are actually stars, which means that there's something about the camera that's making these stars, which are normally little points of light, be triangle shaped.
Look at Cuomo. He can't understand. What are you talking about, buddy? These are UFOs. Look at his face. He just went from interested to very concerned that you just said these aren't UAPs or UFOs, whatever.
So if that's happening to the stars, it's also happening to what's making the triangle. And if it's flashing like a plane, then the simplest explanation is that it is a plane.
Look at this.
Binoculars have that same type of triangular aperture, and they when you look at stars and when you look at planes through this type of night vision binocular, and it's a little bit out of focus, if you don't realize it's out of focus, then you are going to see exactly what you're seeing in this video, and we've managed to replicate this.
This is brilliant. I mean, we all know that he did that. What is it, bokeh?
Yeah, the bokeh, the lens effect. Yeah.
And it's just funny I think Cuomo's about to say something here, but I have to pause it, for fair use purposes. So, and if anybody has any questions, think about them, because in about 7 minutes or 10 minutes, we're going to take some questions from the audience. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. I'm here with Manny from Area 503. You guys can check out his channel. I'll put the link in the description. As soon as we're done, I meant to do it before and I forgot. I apologize, Manny. I'm bad. I'm usually good about that. But that'll be up in the chat, in the description after the show. So here we go. As a matter of fact, I'll do it while we're talking.
Replicated this exact thing with these flashing lights from a plane going by and these triangular stars. And I've analyzed the speed of the thing moving across the scene. It's exactly the same as the planes would be in that region at that altitude.
You call it the bokeh effect, B-O-K-E-H?
Yeah. Bokeh is just simply the
Bokeh.
shape that an out of focus light will take when it's out of focus. So you see it sometimes if you take a picture of a Christmas tree, the Christmas tree lights will look like little round circles. But when you use a triangular lens like this, a triangular aperture in your lens, like is in some of these night vision binoculars, they come out as little triangles, just like we see in the video.
And the military would be sophisticated enough to know about this potential issue?
Right.
Oh, I think that the military certainly is, but I think what's going on here is perhaps this UAP task force that is leaking these things out, perhaps doesn't have a lot of people on board, and somehow they've become convinced that this was maybe at some point unidentified. The thing is, we don't know any context about this video. We know very little about what the provenance of it is and what people are actually claiming about it, other than the people, the UFO promoters who've released it.
Here's another one.
Damn, there it is right there. That's what I said about that video.
What's that?
That's what I said about that video when it first came out, is that there's no evidence to back all of the additional allegations that Corbell made about the footage, about it lingering, about it making all these different moves and all this radar data. And people have argued with me as if that's fact, and it's not in evidence. There is no fact to that. That is a purely speculative conclusion that Corbell made, either based on hearsay or he fabricated it. One of the two. You know, there's no evidence to support that, or at least that I've seen. He hasn't shown it if it's out there. So I'd like to see a follow-up report from that sighting if there was one. Radar data, where's the CIC information? You know, there was obviously someone was there because they recorded it in the CIC, which I'm surprised. That's a big no-no. You should not be taking that kind. Yeah, that's somebody could have gotten a lot of trouble for that. So, you know, this might be another piece of footage like the original 2004 Tic Tac footage that was leaked in 2004, made its way on YouTube for a couple of years and then got taken down. And then, you know, Elizondo got a hold of it years later and re-released it. They might have said, hey, this is stuff has already been out in the public. You can have this, or you can use that. But again, it's interesting. You know what kind of radar systems and intelligence and close-in combat systems those ships have. They should have mountains of data on that UFO, not just a few sketchy frames of video. They should have all kinds of data, and that would be disclosure, right? I mean,
yeah, that's right. You can't have all that information out there, man, because you'll be proving it. Are you kidding me, Manny? You can't do that.
But if you want to prove it, prove it. If you don't want to prove it, don't say you want to prove it. You know, like, either crap or get off the pot, dude.
Look at the video. The video is everything you need. Aren't you happy with that?
Not at all. I see better footage every day on the MUFON site, or you know, on YouTube, yeah, on Thursdays, everywhere, from everywhere. Jaime Mossato comes up with better stuff. He just plucks it out of thin air, and it looks better than that, you know. So,
it's true. It's true. It's funny. Felix Cordova about an hour ago was asking what's going on with Tyler. Well, we already talked about Tyler and Secure Team in the first 30 minutes. I just want to let you know that, Felix. So if you want to rewind when we're done, go ahead and check it out. We talked about it for a few minutes. I didn't want to let you know I wasn't paying attention, but I'm not going to play the rest of it. I'll put the link in the description. So I'd rather get questions since, you know, we're pushing the end of the show here. So if anybody has any questions for me, actually, Manny, please put it in all caps and hit enter. I'd like to know. Betty's like, your laugh. She likes your laugh. You do have a unique laugh, that's for sure. You can, you do that in your videos. It's very distinct. It's you.
I'll have to make a ringtone version of it. Upload it to you know, the Apple Store or something.
You should make a ringtone out of it.
Yeah. 5 different laughs of Manny. The sarcastic one.
Right. Yes. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, whatever. That could be the next Siri, man. Come on.
There's have you ever heard of, I think it's IRL Rosie? She does the best Siri impersonation. She jukes out the scammers that call, and she plays with them, and she acts like Siri. It's unbelievable. Or Alexa. I mean, she does them.
I know a few people in the scam bait community, and you know, I saw when she came onto the scene. I think she came from somewhere else, and just started making, you know, scam bait videos. But yeah, I don't actually watch her stuff. What's Scott? Oh, Scott. Of course, I forgive you, dude. Come on, man. For what? For blocking me for a minute? Give me a break.
Okay, here's a good question. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad you You guys are okay. Scott's a good guy. John Sports Cards for Manny. What are your thoughts on Mars? Ooh, we didn't even talk about Mars, man. Me.
Yeah. So I've said for a long time, that's a good question though, but I've said for a long time that Mars, when I look at Mars, it feels like our past and not our future, you know, and I tend to think that that's what we're going to see there. They're already starting to find those mushrooms that were there that were on that was based off of, I think, 8-year-old data. And it almost makes me wonder if they waited to put that out until Perseverance and Ingenuity landed, like they were like part of a drip feed, or they're trying to slowly, lead us into the fact that there's definitely going to be life found there. It's not going to be a creature that's walking up and going, "Hey, we got pizza and beer." It's going to be microbial life found in the dirt, and that's the most common kind of life that you find in the universe, microbial life. You can find it on asteroids. You can find it on meteorites. They're definitely going to find it on Mars, but
you think so? What if there's nothing? 3 billion years they're telling us there hasn't been any water. So that's been a real windy, dry place.
As far as I understand, you can freeze a tardigrade indefinitely and then rehydrate it. It'll come back to life, so
here on Earth, right?
On the moon and Earth and space, anywhere. They've done it on the moon. Yeah. So
Claudia Rodriguez has a question. Manny, what is your opinion on the church? Do you believe they have made contact with ETs?
That's a good question.
Thank you very much, Claudia.
When I say the church, you almost have to think just the Vatican, because they've got the huge organized structure that's global. And a lot of people have speculated about that tie-in over the years. Now, I've never seen any direct evidence about it, but I do recall, I think it wasn't Stan Friedman, but I was watching another interview with a guy who was trying to get some information from the Vatican, and he was part of the Royal Jesuit Order here in the States, and thought that he would get help from them. He said, I want to look for UFO files in the Vatican records, and they were just flat out said, no way, not going to happen. You're not going to get access to this stuff. And he was kind of shocked, and so that leads me to believe they're most certainly, if something like that happened, in the past, they would probably know about it. People have wondered if they've hidden artifacts for years, and we probably won't know until we get into the Vatican vault, but that's not going to happen. They're their own state, for crying out loud, and it's a real interesting setup. So yeah, I tend to think that might be true, but there's nothing that I can show you to back that up. That's just my belief, my perception.
We got another question here. Let's see. Good answer, though. But let's see. Goof on. Who has the best Tyler impression, you or Manny?
My Tyler's
I think you do.
No,
I think Manny does. Yeah. No, mine's not. I mean, mine's an exaggeration. Huh?
No, man. I told you that I had reached out to Tyler in a message, and I told him in that I had kind of buried the hatchet between us. I was like, we spoke earlier a little bit about it. I had made those kind of scathing videos, and I called them hatchet job videos, and they were, I pretty much did dismember that guy with a hatchet in the one video, and it was bad. But I won't say I don't regret doing it, but I've learned from it, and I knew when I did it, it was going to be kind of one of those controversial pieces where it's like you're either going to love it or hate it. Yeah. So, thanks, Michael.
I don't think anybody's done more about Tyler than me. Probably that's not true. Lions Ground did a lot about him.
Yeah, the Out There channel followed him for years.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but he's really a zero when it comes into talk about. He has 3 people watching him for 3 hours. Just 3 people. I mean, that's not really getting the message out to anybody but himself. So I don't really, but he does. He's probably the one that done more videos on all of us. Felix Cordova, how about the moon? Why did it ring like a bell? Is it natural or placed? Well, it rang like a bell because, there's no gravity. There's no, atmosphere. There's no water. So if it rang like a bell, I'm assuming that it's because it may not be hollow, but there may not be a lot of materials other than what we're seeing that the moon could be made up of what we see. And that's it. Maybe there's not a lot. I don't know. I don't know much about the moon's materials or the ingredients that makes up the moon. Manny, do you know, are there a lot of different things up there? I know there's a lot of volcano stuff, right?
Yeah, it's
Lava?
primarily made out of Swiss cheese, and it's no, I'm just kidding. It's not
That's
Swiss
true.
cheese. No, there's all kinds of stuff up there. But if you look at our moon, they brought some samples back, and there's a reddish dirt or dust underneath on the top surface, and then it's white on the very, very top. But when you get down into it, when they did the first spacewalks, that's one of the things the astronauts noticed. They jumped down, and they're like, oh, it's red. It's red under here, which was interesting. Now that could mean a number of things. It could be iron. It could be all different things. But if you look at our moon, it wouldn't be too hard for me to envision our moon with all of the water that's currently on our planet up on the moon, and it looks something like Enceladus or Europa that are floating around out there. And they've got a thick layer of ice on the surface with, geothermally heated water underneath it. And as we all know, in water, you can have life. And so I can't help but wonder if the life on our planet wasn't started up on the moon and at some point came down here, and got crashed down to the earth. Was it the moon impacting? Was it just getting pulled away by the gravitational force of the earth? I don't know, but I look at our moon and I could see it looking like Enceladus or Europa at some point in the past. And I just have to wonder that. But that's just kind of what I think it was. I do think it's a naturally occurring moon. But it ties into our Earth so much, with the tides and generating the energy that's in the atmosphere that makes lightning, that creates, that keeps this planet alive. Like if it wasn't here, we'd be rocked. So we need it. But
well, thank you. That's a good answer, man. I want to thank Mr. Catfish 2100 for the $1.99 super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then I see Felix Cordova again. I ask, how is it the moon is exactly placed to cover up the sun on just perfect of an eclipse? Well, that's just okay. Okay. I mean, there could be a logical explanation. It's just chance, but the moon is ridiculously large for the Earth. It shouldn't even be more than 300 miles. It's 3,000 miles, or what is it? It's about 3,000 miles across, right? 2,700. Pretty.
Oh, it's pretty big. I thought it was 1,000, but yeah, it's pretty big. And
maybe I'm wrong.
I thought bigger than it should be for our Earth? I mean, possibly.
It is. It's ridiculously big. But
it works.
Big. It's bigger than Pluto.
But it works,
But if I think what Felix is trying to get me to say is that the moon was brought here. It could be a space station. That's the moon. That's a space station. So if it is, that would make sense. Maybe our time is limited here, and once the moon keeps continuing its way outward, I think it is leaving our atmosphere or the Earth's gravity, like 6 centimeters a year or something like that.
Yeah, it's slowly pulling away from us a little bit.
Yeah, so it'll take a billion years before it gets out of here. But yeah, it's really holding Earth together because the Earth wobbles. It's off its axis, and without the moon, we wouldn't have our seasons, our tides, our weather. Everything would be chaos. Manny, you want to add to that?
No, I mean, that sounds perfect to me. And I agree with what you were saying there. Like it's a weird balance that creates, the conditions that life could form in. And, it might be related to that, we couldn't have been here without our moon being in where it is. And that's why it's perfect for our existence. If you try a billion different, solar systems, you're going to get a billion different combinations and one of them might hit. But yeah, I don't know. I like the moon.
I love the moon, man.
I want to go there sometime.
We will. When we're dead,
our
souls will go there. Yeah, you never know, man. You never know. In 20 years, maybe we can get a ticket to the moon.
Yeah, the capstone station will be built by then and floating around the gateway station and all of that. So, maybe they will put a lunar hotel up there for us.
It is strange, though, how it does what it does to the sun during an eclipse. I just think it is too perfect, like Felix said. Martin R, sorry. Some people know stuff, others also know stuff. No one human could ever know all. A machine will. Yeah, that's true. But not all. Yeah, a machine only knows what we tell it, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't really know stuff. I don't know. I mean, with advanced artificial intelligence, you're getting into a different conversation. But, traditional computers are real linear. So... you can ask Google and it could tell you, what the moon is, but it can't tell you what to do with that data. And it certainly isn't going to paint a picture of it.
Anybody have any questions? Any more for Manny, Area 503? I did put the link to his YouTube channel in the description. If you want to go there, it's there, or just type in Area 503. Is it area space then 503 to find you, or do you can just type it in, right? Any old way?
Yeah, both of them work on YouTube. There's not a lot of competition for that phrase out there, but it's area space 503 is the name, and you just look for the logo of the state of Oregon. And
Well,
it's youtube.com area 503. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to thank you for coming on, man. This went by so fast. I owe you one on this. This was fantastic. Thank you. And do you have anything new coming up this week?
I'm still working on my next video, and I've been really focusing on the music stuff this last week. So that's the next video that's going to be coming up, is probably a science and tech update, unless something else comes out that I want to talk about before I get that done. And then after that, it's just the standard UFOs, science and tech, and all the strange stuff that's going on in our world.
Oh, one last question from Scott. Oh, wait, there's a couple of questions coming in. Wait, what about the time there was no moon? No more moon. Well, I don't know about the time, but I heard there were two brothers who brought the moon in. I don't know what their names were, but they carried it over and placed it there. Hey, I believe it, man. There's stories about when the moon was brought here. That's weird. Denbub, AI has already been shut down because of the hostile intentions to humans. Huh? They did? Oh, that's in the movie Terminator. Yeah, you're right. John Sports Cards, what are your favorite sci-fi and horror films, Manny?
Sci-fi. Nice, yeah, that's good. I like sci-fi. That's my genre, man. So it's hard to pick. Probably Stargate's one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time. And
Which
as
one?
far as Stargate, the original with
okay.
David, what's his name? David, James Spader and Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. But I like all sci-fi, and I've been watching a lot of the newer stuff. There's a new horror sci-fi one called Project Ithaca, which is awesome. I mean, like 6 people wake up on a ship, and they're out in the middle of BFE. They can't see, they have no idea where they're at, and they're from different times on Earth, scattered over 50 years or so. It's pretty interesting. But it is a
watch that.
I think it's on Netflix.
Really?
Or Hulu. Yeah. Project Ithaca is a good one. The director who did that, I forget his name, but he's done 3 or 4 different real decent sci-fi movies here recently.
Is that where they wake up and they fall out of a capsule and they're nude? Is that the one how it starts out? No? Okay.
It's kind of darker. It's like the whole ship's real dark and black, and they're kind of hooked up into a pod sort of thing that when they come in, that kind of restricts their movement. They're kind of plugged into the machine, to the ship somehow. But it is pretty terrifying.
I'll have to watch it. One last question from Misty OC Dragons. Goof on for you, Manny. When do we get to see more Fleeve, Cynthia, Computer, and even Tommy?
The Computer will be around quite a bit, always, and Tommy might be making a couple of surprise appearances and some not so surprise appearances here in the near future. Fleeb and Cynthia, not sure about them. They're doing their own thing. Like, they started a 2-person band, and they're working on a tour, and they're bigger and better than us now, so they're moving on. But yeah, the Computer and Tommy will be around for a while. So thanks, Misty.
Yeah. I can't wait for Tommy to show up someday. That's all the questions I can squeeze in. Thanks, guys, for all your comments and questions. Scott Brown says, wow, my question sucked that bad. Stop.
What was your question, Scott?
See, we don't remember. It was great. It was that good we forgot. What was this question? I'm scrolling back to see. It was, what does Manny think of the new alien autopsy bullcrap? Oh, I didn't see it. I didn't see this question. Oh, yeah, about the new alien autopsy crap.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, so I don't have an opinion. If you want
I think it's.
I'll take a look at it after the show. Scott, you can ask me on Twitter or we'll talk about it there. But yeah,
they're trying to say there are these frames that. I think it's Linda Moulton Howe and somebody else are saying that there are these frames that are authentic, and that I think they're saying that it got authenticated by, I can't remember. Let me pull it up. Scott has it here. I looked at it. It was all, people, companies that authenticate stuff.
Yeah.
one of those companies authenticated this thing, and I think it's real. Here it is. Let me pull it up on over here for you guys to see real quick. Sorry, Manny. You have to work tomorrow, right?
Yeah, but I'm good on time here, man. It's only
Okay.
9 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See, it's midnight here. So yeah, this is it. A frame of the famous debunked alien autopsy film is being sold with an opening bid over $1 million, claiming it's been validated by the CIA as authentic. Oh, okay. That's right. I get so many things I forgot. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Original alien autopsy film frame. And then here it says the most famous piece of UFO evidence, an NFT on the film that led the CIA to confirm the existence of ETs. It's been compared to the Zapruder film. It is important and was even immortalized on the X-Files.
Right? I thought the guy
fake.
who made this original video said it was fake, right?
Yeah, the Italian dude. Yeah.
Oh, so they're just auctioning a frame of the video of the fake video. I got you. They're not trying to say that this is a real alien, but
no,
this is
they did, claiming it's been validated by the CIA as authentic.
Why would the CIA validate it when the person who made it already said it wasn't?
Yeah, I know.
The filmmakers already publicly stated when this came out that it was a hoax, or not a hoax, but a publicity
But then
stunt.
didn't they come back out and say that we were forced to say that?
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that, but maybe that's the case. Yeah.
This is so silly.
I remember this footage because I looked at it at first and I was like, what the hell is that? And then, when I read that it was faked, I was like, well, that makes sense. It looks exactly like it said it. The guy described making a latex doll, stuffing it with like meat from the butcher and stuff like that to make it more realistic, and how it stank in the apartment and stuff like that. I'm like, it sounded like a true story that they faked it, right? I mean, to me, but
they faked it. Come on, man. That's a person, a bloated person, most likely a woman. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Well, thanks, Manny, for coming on. Hey, do you have any, where else can we find you on Twitter?
Twitter on Area 503. Oh yeah, and that brings up a point. I'm starting a hashtag. If anyone can if you want a hashtag no alien threat to counter the threat narrative, do it. I'm going to be spreading that hashtag on everything. If you guys are on Twitter, just tag it onto a couple of your posts and get it going. Every little bit helps, and if we can draw more attention to it, especially in Twitter where it seems like the most people are buying the story, then that will help. There needs to be some counter action to that, and if it's only 20 people to start, it'll turn into 100, and then it'll turn into 1,000, and that's how movements begin. So hopefully some of you people out there can help. Look for my tweets on Twitter that say no alien threat, and spread the word. Spread it.
You're not on Facebook?
I have a Facebook page, but I don't do anything with it.
Oh, okay.
I don't. It just sits there. So Twitter is really where I reach out to people because I can communicate, and then they can always email me. My email is on the YouTube channel as well. It's realarea503@gmail.com, and I'm good about answering emails. So if people want to email, there's all kinds of ways to find me. But Twitter is the home base, or YouTube is the home base. So check out there.
All right. And I'll put the link into Twitter as well for you in the description. I forgot about that too. Well, thanks, Manny, for coming on. And we are not going to wait this long in between visits. So we'll see you soon, I hope. And good luck with everything at Area 503, the music. I really appreciate this, man. Thanks.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure, dude. It's always fun hanging out with you. I get to chat with you in the chat, but you're on the show, and I'm like, I don't want to bug you, man. And by the way, thanks for taking, when I did ask you about that Beaver UFO footage, man, thanks for taking that and answering that. You didn't have to stop your show to go into it. I was just hoping to find the link for the show that you had talked about it before, but that was awesome, man. I appreciate you, man. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was just timing. You just got me at the right time where I was looking over, because I am a one-man band, so I have to focus, and it's hard to do this. See, it's easier when you have a guest because I can look at what people are saying and talk back, and but when you're by yourself, you just can't. So I hope people understand it. But thanks anyway. Yeah, that was not a problem. You're welcome. Well, thanks, Manny. I'm gonna put you in the green room here for a moment while I say goodbye to everybody. So thanks again. We'll see you soon.
So long, everyone.
It's so funny. It's like I'm watching a video. If you don't look and you hear him speaking, you see the green alien head. You just do. But I want to thank everybody who came here tonight and hung out with me and Manny. It was a lot of fun. It went by too fast. We got to do it again. And thank you, super chatters and moderators, for supporting your time and everything else. So I appreciate that. Veterans and newcomers alike, thank you for your time. I know you just come here for 5 minutes. All we ask, just give the show a chance. Maybe you'll come back. Maybe you'll give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But we'll be back tomorrow night. Oh, I forgot to mention it. Alien Girl, Uno tomorrow night. Alien Girl's gonna be here. Can you believe it? Tomorrow night. Do not miss that show. It is gonna be freaking fun. Oh God, she's great. I love talking to her. So don't forget tomorrow night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here on the YouTubes. And don't forget, if you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out for ufology. Good night, everybody. Hey.
Terrified of dear Uncle Gustav. Yes, I am. Well, I'm not. I don't care if he does find me gone. But how? Frida, I beg you, think about what you're doing. Everyone says he's a wicked man. What about him? Who wants to be good if being good is singing hymns and praying all day long? He's doing what's best for us, I'm sure. It might be best for you. It's not for me. I'm going, and you might as well stop arguing about it. I warn you, if you dare tell on me, Frida, you know I wouldn't do that. I'm just telling you, you know what will happen if you do. Stop it, you're hurting me, not half as much as I will if you don't keep quiet.